Listen, because you clicked on this video, I want you to understand one thing, that you are not alone. Everyone goes through phases and seasons where productivity feels completely pointless. All the systems and the processes and the tools just feel like, why am I doing this thing? If you're in that place right now, here's what you do. First and foremost, just stop. Stop what you're doing. Don't try to push through this. Don't try to just force yourself through that weekly review or that mind dump. Whatever it is that you feel like you should be doing next, stop. Your brain has decided that for whatever reason, productivity is not worth pursuing at this point in time. And there's a number of reasons for that. First, you could be just flat out burnt out. You might need to just take some time and reevaluate the amount of work and effort that you're putting into things so that you're not continuing to burn yourself out. You have to find a healthier cadence if you're in this place. Second, maybe you're just flat out overwhelmed. Maybe you have too many projects that you aren't actually committed to doing in your task manager. Maybe you have too much information that you haven't properly processed. Maybe you just don't know what the heck is going on in your life. Well, that's a place of overwhelm that just about everybody hits with their productivity system, probably every 6 months or so. So you're not alone in that. Or maybe you've made some recent changes to your productivity system because you saw something cool that somebody else did in another video or on a blog or something like that, and you've introduced friction into your system. The best thing to do right now is to just stop. Stop what you're doing. Don't push through it. Take a break from trying to be quote unquote productive. Get your work done, obviously, but don't worry about the systems for a minute, because two, this is the best time for you to take a step back and reflect. Try to figure out what's going on. There's a few different tools that you can use for this. First, you can just flat out journal. Just start free writing your thoughts out about why you think you're maybe struggling with this idea of productivity. And maybe you'll uncover some reasons throughout that process. Or you can use a tool like the 5 whys, where you take a problem and you just ask why. And then ask why, and then repeat that 5 times, because more than likely you're going to clarify the root cause of that problem. Because oftentimes we like to put band-aids on symptoms of problems, but not actually fix the problem that's upstream. So when you ask deeper questions to try to get to the root cause of a problem, then you're more likely to develop a solution to solve that problem properly so it doesn't crop up again in the future. This is also another great time to find the joy in productivity again. So many times we put pressure on ourselves to be productive, to achieve things, to build these great systems because we see other people building these really elaborate things. We feel like for us to be hyper productive that we have to do the same thing. That's not exactly the case, but oftentimes there's something that we've consumed or read or listened to or watched in the past that's brought a sense of joy and excitement to try to bring the effectiveness of our lives to the next level. Maybe it's a book like Getting Things Done. Maybe it's a podcast like Mac Power Users. Whatever it is, go back to that thing. Go find those things that kind of bring you to life, that fan the fire in you to be like, you know what, I can do this, and just to get you back into the fundamentals of things too, because that can help you to move on to the next step, which is to re-engage, but slowly. When you've started to understand the reason why you're struggling with productivity, the best thing to do is to re-engage with your system slowly. You want to identify those problems and then start to solve them. Another thing to do if your system has become overwhelming is just to flat out minimize what you're doing. So if you're used to using a full-blown productivity system such as OmniFocus, intertwined with so many other tools through linking and things like that, if that's too much for you at this moment in time, it's okay to back away from that and use something simpler. Maybe a bullet journal if you need something less intensive but still organized to some degree, or if you really need to just let go, maybe just use a piece of paper for a while and just start writing all of the things down that you need to do and crossing them off as you get them done. The key here is to start readjusting yourself. The temptation when you re-engage with your productivity system that you feel like hasn't been working for you is that you just have to completely throw it out. Throw out the tools, throw out the processes, but generally that's not the case. Usually it's 1 or 2 things, maybe big things, maybe small things, that have been causing the problem all along. It's usually not the tools, it's the mindset and the way that we approach using the tools. So you not only have to readjust how you're approaching your tools, you have to readjust how you're thinking as well. And this is why, especially, reflecting and digging in is so important before you re-engage. But there are cases too where maybe you just have to completely throw out the entire productivity system and start over from scratch. Maybe you got a little too invested in Notion and now everything's kind of a mess in there, and for you to be able to make any sense of it, you might need to switch to use something else for your tasks, for example. So these 4 steps: to stop, to reflect, take some time to define the problems that you have, to find the joy in being productive and effective with your life again, and then to re-engage slowly and to start to solve the problems that you've realized that you have. I think you can really start to get over this hump of, productivity isn't really fun. I don't really like it. I don't really want to engage with it anymore. Back to, this is the thing. This is a tool in my life that just really helps me to be a better person. Now, one thing you might want to consider is the type of system that you're using for the career path or the type of career that you're on. If you're interested in learning more about that, check out this video over here.